but wishing them everything good that God could pour out upon them, because that's what shalom means. It's the whole state of being in union with God and at a good relationship with God, and that everything that they would need to live their life would be theirs, would be given to them. And so, realizing that they, of course, would be just struck by the fact that Jesus appeared to them, he wishes them this so that they understand that this isn't a ghostly apparition or anything of the sort, but this is the continuation now of Jesus ministering to them after the experience of the resurrection, and all of this is happening on that day. And then John's Gospel, on that first day of the week, that's when he breathes forth the Holy Spirit upon them. And so, not only have they been wished everything that God can possibly pour out upon them, but now they have received his Spirit, the Spirit of the risen Lord, which will continue to empower them and make it possible for them to carry out the mission that Jesus has entrusted to them, so that they can become Christ's presence, be other Christs to the people that they are going to minister to, and remain faithful in that to the end. And we have our friend Thomas. And Thomas is this guy who likes to, almost like Peter, blurt things out. He said at one point, well, if Jesus is going up to Jerusalem now, let's go up and die with him. Or when Jesus is at the Last Supper and speaking to them, Thomas is the one that says, well, Lord, we don't know where you're going. How can we know the way? He's the one that was willing to either commit the apostles to a course of action, or we had the bravery to put the question to Jesus. And what are you talking about? And he's also the one who was willing to express how he felt in his doubts. So beyond being Thomas the doubter, Thomas is really Thomas the honest one, because he's not holding back. He's not shading the truth. He's not afraid to speak what's in his mind or in his heart. And I think that's why when John the Evangelist puts this together, he makes it a point of translating Thomas's name into twin, so that everybody will understand that they can be like Thomas. We can be like Thomas. The twin who has doubts, has times when we are very certain, times when we're very brave in our faith, and also times when we may speak before we think about something that we might want to do. But that we are probably more like Thomas than we want to admit. Because, after all, we go through all of those different things ourselves in our lives with other stuff. Sometimes we're brave and we'll do something that we know we need to do, and we'll just do it. Other times we may, just blurt something out without thinking about it, and then have to pay certain consequences later. Or we don't want to believe immediately, because if we do, then maybe we'll be taken advantage of, or we'll seem to be foolish. But yet, here we are. We are these disciples, and we live in a world all these years later where we need, first of all, to know that peace which surpasses all understanding, that shalom of God. How many of us, long for that sense of well-being from God that only God can give us. Because we have our struggles, we have our illnesses, we have our preoccupations, our worries. We have all of these things that assault us day in and day out. And yet we are here as disciples, and we're being told that Jesus gives us this shalom, this fullness of blessing that God can give us. And it is ours if we want to claim it. A lot of times we just don't think about it. Or we figure we're, sort of bumbling through this thing alone. But yet we're not alone. We are never alone. That this gift of God is the gift to us. The gift of the risen Lord to us is that gift of His Spirit that we have all received as well. And it makes us strong, and it makes us loving, and it makes us wise, and it keeps us honest so that we can be more like Thomas and express to God how we feel and be maybe sometimes a little more bold in how we try to live our faith or express it. And then when we have doubts, to voice them, do something to try to address them if they really become more nagging or serious. But we don't have a Lord who is going to punish us because we have our moments of doubt, or is going to punish us because we don't do something immediately. We have a God who loves us. And as we continue on this 8th day of Easter to proclaim Christ crucified and risen, and our share in that risen life, we're being reminded that He's in the business of continuing to bring us to life, to fill us with joy in being His disciples. And that nothing that this world can throw at us, no matter what we're going through in our country, in the political realm or the economic realm or any other place, there's nothing that life can throw at us that can steal away that shalom of God, that gift that Christ has breathed upon His church, breathed upon the apostles, and has breathed upon us. Because Christ is risen. We know the truth. Christ is risen. And because He is risen, so are we. Because we've died with Him in baptism. We've been raised with Him through our baptism. By the gift of the Spirit, we are continuously filled with His life so that we can live faithfully, so that we can carry out the work that we have been given to do. And that we don't have to be afraid to speak our minds. We don't have to be afraid of taking the initiative. And we don't have to ever be afraid of even expressing our doubts. Because then we are just being human. We're being really, truly like Thomas's twin. And we're really being pleasing to the Father, who sees us honestly striving to live as His Son has called us to and empowers us to. So I want to invite you today to put yourself in Thomas's place, and when he affirms Christ not only as risen, but calls Him my Lord and my God, hopefully we can say that same thing. And especially in that sacramental encounter at Holy Communion, that we can say to that Jesus present in the sacrament that we receive, my Lord and my God. And allow that acclamation, that profession of faith be our guiding principle as we go day by day through this week. Because in that way, we will truly be Thomas's twin. We will truly be the ones who give witness to the fact that Christ is alive because he's alive in me, and he's alive in you. He's alive in his church, and present to bring love, peace, and true joy to the lives of others.